Sherry is based on 5 principles. The first principle is the Albariza soil, a white dry soil very rich in calcium carbonate. It is this soil which retains the rainwater. The second principle is the grape variety, such as the Palomino fino grape, the Pedro Jimenez grape, the Moscatel. The third and fourth principles are the aging systems, the biological system and the oxidative system, and finally the Solera system. Our must, our young wine, a wine from the 2010 vintage, a clean, bright must with greenish tones, a fragrant nose with the varietal notes from the Palomino fino dominating. As for the mouth, we can still notice a certain degree of acidity, or, as I always say, a certain degree of rebelliousness. This is a wine which will have to be cared for and brought under control. December to January is the most important period for the wine cellar. It is time to separate the must, the fermented wine, from its lees. At this point, the first classification takes place, with the most fragrant must being chosen for biological aging. The next wine is our Sobre Tablas Fino. What we attempt is to give this wine the appropriate conditions to allow the developing of yeast. This is precisely the time when the miracle of sherry takes place, the miracle of the yeast. Sherry wine, our Tío Pepe, is a living wine. The yeast produced is a fungus, and like all living organisms, the first thing it needs is to breathe. Therefore, it rises to the surface of the wine and begins to reproduce, forming yeast colonies, which we know as the flor veil. Again, as every living creature, it needs to feed, and yeast will do so through the nutrients within the wine, which allows our wine, our fino, from biological aging, to achieve its final process of evolution. However, we put aside a certain amount of this wine for next solera, that of our Amontillado Viña Ave, which unites both the best of biological aging and the best of oxidative aging, where the flor splits open, causing the wine to come into contact with the oxygen and begin to oxidize. Part of this solera is taken apart and stabilized, as the other one will be used for our Amontillado del Duque, our VORS. This wine has been developing under an oxidative system. This is why its color has changed. It has become amber, darker, with reddish tones. You can see the beautiful evolution of colors. We could say that Amontillado del Duque, our VORS, is simply a 30-year-old Tío Pepe. I always say that no other wine could have possibly aged with such nobility, such dignity and excellence than the way Tío Pepe has.